it's Webs here with more cards to review. For the new Hearthstone set, Fractured in Alterac Valley. There are definitely some cards that got revealed today that will push some decks that I'm looking forward to play, so let's take a look at those cards. The first card that got revealed today is Dun Baldur's Bunker, which is Hunter's objective spell. It costs 2 mana and it reads, at the end of your turn, draw a secret and change its cost to 1. This lasts 3 turns like the other ones. So it's probably safe to say all the objective spells are going to last 3 turns. This is probably the most interesting out of all the objective spells so far, as it shows clear support to a type of hunter deck that I thought was honestly forgotten about by Blizzard, and a deck that I've actually been really wanting some support for quite a bit of time. This card alone actually helps with the consistency factor of actually drawing into your secrets. However, that was never really the biggest issue with Secret Hunter. The biggest issue with the deck is the fact that there is no secret currently in standard that actually deals with any type of spells, which is a huge issue for the deck to actually be viable, given the fact that decks like Questline Mage are actually pretty popular right now. Though through the recent switch of a more minion-based meta because of the mini set, this could actually see a lot more play than it did before the mini set actually came out, depending on what the other support cards are. Next hunter card that got revealed, to my surprise, is another secret card. The name of the card is Ram Tamer. It's a 3-drop with 4 attack and 3 HP, and its battle cry reads, if you control a secret, gain +1/+1 and stealth, which makes this card actually pretty damn playable if there is some type of new secret in this set too. It's also worth mentioning that Tavish and Mercenaries is actually secret based, so maybe the Hunter Hero card is actually going to be a secret based card, which could actually be pretty fun. This is one of my dream types of decks to actually see support, because there are a bunch of secret cards currently in standard that are going to rotate out kind of soonish. I'd rather see them see some play instead of just be not relevant for their entire existence in standard. Overall, this card probably depends on if we are getting any more secret support or not. But if we are, this card is definitely worth the while, and I can actually see it seeing a lot of play. Revive Pet is the next hunter card that got revealed, which is a 3-cost spell that reads, discover a friendly beast that died this game and summon it. There are definitely ways to abuse this card in beast decks that don't actually run that many beasts. You could actually abuse it in a King Crush deck, felt like it, by only running King Crush and like 2 other minions, since you'll always get the King Crush off of it. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but it's going to be a really funny deck, and it seems that Beast Hunter is the other archetype that Blizzard is going to support in this mini set, given some of the other support that we've seen recently. And at a more competitive level, this card might see some play, so you can actually get some additional Tundra Rhinos, but I don't know outside of that case how often this is going to see play, unless you're playing some weird wacky deck. Though with Vannder being a card, you could actually try to make King Crush Hunter actually work, especially with the next card that got revealed. The first Hunter legendary, Wing Commander Ichman, is a 9-cost minion with 5 attack and 4 HP with the battle cry of summon a beast from your deck and give it rush. If it kills a minion this turn, repeat. So this card honestly reminds me of the original Tavish from the Baron set in a lot of ways, and it actually kind of solves the issue of that version of Tavish actually had, was you didn't actually get rush off of the beast that you're summoning out of your deck. However, I don't know how playable this card is going to be, because Hunter stereotypically only plays low cost cards. There is a cool like big Hunter deck kind of forming around this King Crush and Vannder, but I don't know how prevalent that's going to actually be. It's going to be a really fun deck to test out, don't get me wrong, but overall I don't know how useful it's going to be. You could actually summon the Rat King off of this too if you're using Vannder. That could actually be kind of cool to try out to do. This has a lot of potential. I just don't know if Hunter is the right class for something like this, just because it doesn't actually have that much survivability. It all depends on what they're going to print for either the secrets or other support for big beast hunter, you know. The first demon hunter card for the set has been revealed, which is Flag Runner. It's a 3-cost minion with 1 attack and 6 HP. Whenever a friendly minion dies, gain 1 attack. So this is definitely a card that supports one of Demon Hunter's forgotten archetypes, which is Token Demon Hunter. The deck used to actually have a big payout out of the dragon that summons 2 minions equal to the cost of the number of minions that have died while it was in your hand, and the Naga that did 3 damage to a random opponent whenever a minion on your board died. However, currently in standard, I don't know what the actual payoff for this deck is without seeing the rest of Demon Hunter's cards and if they're actually going to support it this time around. I would say this is probably not the best card in the world. It does have a nice stat line, don't get me wrong, but there aren't many other ways to actually have a payoff, and this is going to be an instant kill card for anyone who's facing a deck like this if there aren't better payoffs for such a deck. Though it does have 6 HP, which does put it out of range of a lot of spell removal. Paladin seems to be going down the control route with the new hero card and this new minion, Templar Captain, which is an 8 cost minion with 8 attack and 8 HP. It also has rush, and after it attacks, you get a 5/5 defender with taunt, which is actually pretty good. That's the equivalent of actually have 13 worth of stats on board just because of one 8 cost minion, which is actually pretty insane. However, I don't know how well big Paladin actually is going to work. I am kind of glad that they're trying to do a bunch of things with a bunch of big minions, especially with Vannder actually being a card right now, and probably the reason why they're actually more willing to print out big minions. I'm kind of hopeful that Control Paladin will actually become a thing. It does have a lot of neat little tools that you can actually do. I could definitely see this scene play because of the fact that it is 13 worth of stats just for 8 mana, which is much larger than I think any other card that we've had for 8 mana. A Bombable Lieutenant is a neutral card that got revealed today. It's an 8 cost card with 3 attack and 5 HP, which is kind of depressing. But it does have a pretty cool effect, which is at the end of the turn, eat a random enemy minion and gain its stats. So this is kind of like a on-board Mutanus, which is kind of cool. Mutanus is definitely one of those cards that I shoved in a lot of decks early on when it came out, and then I kind of graduated away from it just because it's the 7 cost unit. I do think Mutanus is a lot better than this card though, just for the fact that 3/5 worth of stats isn't really that big, and most minions currently in the meta aren't really that big minions. However, if hand buff Paladin becomes more of a prevalent force, this could actually see some play in some other decks or even in the mirror match. This could also see some play against Questline Warrior, given the fact that you have a 7/7 reward, or even any other Questline deck for that matter. So overall right now, I would say it's a cool, like, interesting big minion, but I don't see it seeing that much play, but I could definitely be wrong about it. It wouldn't be a complete set based around Alterac Valley without Ivis, the Forest Lord, and his elemental counterpart that I am sure that we'll see as another neutral legendary. Ivis is a 1 cost card with 1 attack and 1 HP, but with the battle cry of spend the rest of your mana and gain +2/+2 rush, divine shield, or taunt at random for each. Boy oh boy, can you say this is not a druid card, especially with the druid hero card setting your maximum mana at 20. This card could be absolutely insane in druid in particular. Even outside of druid, I could actually see this card seeing some play. Well, technically it is a 1 cost card. I wouldn't ever actually play this just for 1 mana. There's no reason actually to do such a thing, as you lose out on the benefits of either getting +2/+2 rush or divine shield or taunt. I do see this as a nice way to actually have a card that acts as a extra mana spender. Turns where you don't actually have your maximum amount of mana. Maybe you want to drop a 2 cost card on turn, I don't know, 6, and you have 4 mana left over, but you have no 4 mana cards in your hand. Just play this down and then you'll get at least something that's useful out of it. It is a nice enough body to actually probably see some type of play there. And in extreme cases, like I mentioned before, the hero card for druid is going to be really insane with this, just because that's 19 different randomization options. Sure, you can actually get screwed over sometimes by choosing the rush, divine shield, or taunt multiple times. This is definitely one of those cards that clearly supports one class in particular, but is a neutral card just because of its iconic nature. And probably the payoff that was actually needed for the Guff hero card to actually see some play outside of just combo decks. Alright, those are all the cards that I'm going to cover today. I hope you enjoyed, and like always, please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.